Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Slow Podcast. I'm your host, Zahra. Today, I want to tell you a story. It is not a fairy tale. It is not a legend. It is a true story. It happened in Tokyo, Japan, about 100 years ago. It is a story about love, friendship, and the most important word for today, loyalty. Do you know what loyalty means? Loyalty means staying with someone you love, no matter what happens, even if it is difficult, even if it hurts. So, sit back, relax, and let me take you to the 1920s. This is the story of Hachiko. The story begins in 1924. There was a man named Hidesaburo Ueno. He was a professor at a university. A professor is a teacher at a high level. Professor Ueno was a kind man, and he loved dogs. One day, he found a small puppy. It was an Akita dog. Akita is a breed of dog from Japan, known for being strong and brave. The puppy had golden brown fur. The professor named him Hachiko. From day one, they had a special bond. A bond is a strong connection or relationship. They were best friends. Hachiko grew up fast, and soon they developed a daily routine. A routine is something you do every day at the same time. Here was their routine. Every morning, the professor walked to Shibuya train station to go to work. Hachiko walked with him. He accompanied him. To accompany means to go together with someone. Hachiko watched the professor buy his ticket and disappear into the station. Then, Hachiko went home. But here is the amazing part. Every afternoon, exactly at 3 p.m., Hachiko walked back to the station. He sat by the exit gate. He waited. When the professor came out of the station, Hachiko was so happy. He wagged his tail. When a dog moves its tail back and forth, it is wagging. It shows happiness. They walked home together, side by side. This happened every single day. Spring, summer, autumn, and winter. The people at the station, the shopkeepers, the station staff, they all knew Hachiko. They smiled at the loyal dog and the kind professor. But life is not always happy. Sometimes tragedy strikes. A tragedy is a very sad event. It was May 21st, 1925. It started like a normal day. The sun was shining. The professor and Hachiko walked to the station. Hachiko watched his master go into the station. He didn't know that this was the last time. At the university, while the professor was teaching a class, something terrible happened. He had a sudden health problem. He suffered a stroke. And sadly, he passed away. Passed away is a gentler way to say died. He died at the university. He never came back to the train station. At 3 p.m., Hachiko arrived at Shibuya Station. He sat in his usual spot. He looked at the door. He watched the passengers coming out. Hundreds of people walked by. But he didn't see the professor. The sun went down. It became dark. But Hachiko did not move. He was confused. He didn't understand why his master wasn't coming. Eventually, late at night, he went home alone. Now, you might think Hachiko would forget. You might think he is just a dog. But Hachiko was not just a dog. The next day, at 3 p.m., Hachiko went back to the station. He waited. The professor did not come. The day after that, he went back again. The professor's gardener tried to take care of Hachiko. He even tried to give Hachiko to another family in a different part of the city. But he ran away. He always ran back to the house of the professor and then to Shibuya Station. Finally, Hachiko realized his master lived at the station now. So he decided to wait there every day for 10 years. Can you imagine that? 10 years. In the hot summer, when the sun was burning, Hachiko sat there. In the cold winter, when the snow was falling and the wind was freezing, he sat there. He was shivering, but he did not leave. He became a stray dog. A stray dog is a dog with no home. He was dirty and hungry. Sometimes the new workers at the station were not nice. They tried to chase him away. They hit him. But he always came back to the exact same spot. But many people remembered him. The people who took the train every day, they saw him. They brought him food. They brought him water. They patted his head. They whispered, "Good boy, Hachiko. Good boy." One day, a former student of Professor Ueno saw the dog. He recognized him. He followed Hachiko and learned his story. He was shocked by the dog's patience. The student wrote an article in a famous newspaper. An article is a story in a newspaper. The headline was about the loyal dog who waits for his dead master. Suddenly, Hachiko became famous. Everyone in Japan read the story. People came from far away just to see him. Hachiko became a symbol of loyalty. Parents told their children, "Be like Hachiko, be loyal, be faithful." People sent money to buy him food. The station staff started to protect him. They even built a bronze statue of Hachiko right there at the station while he was still alive. Hachiko was present when they opened the statue. But Hachiko was getting old. He was tired. He had arthritis, which makes walking painful. But his heart was strong. He never gave up hope. It was March 8th, 1935, nearly 10 years since the professor died. It was a cold morning. Snow covered the streets of Tokyo. People found Hachiko lying in the snow near the station. He was peaceful. He had finally passed away. He was alone on the street, but I'd like to believe he wasn't really alone. I like to imagine that in his final moment, he saw the station doors open one last time, and he saw the professor walking out, smiling, opening his arms, and Hachiko, young and strong again, ran to him, wagging his tail. Finally, the long wait was over. They were reunited. Today, if you go to Tokyo, you can visit Shibuya Station. There is a famous exit called the Hachiko exit, and there stands the bronze statue of the dog. It is a very popular meeting spot. Lovers meet there. Friends meet there. Hachiko's body was preserved, and you can see him in a museum in Tokyo. But his spirit is at the station. This story teaches us a beautiful lesson. Love does not end with death, and loyalty is a rare and precious gift. Thank you for listening to this emotional episode of English Slow Tales. I hope you enjoyed this story as much as I did. If you'd like this story, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. It helps us create more stories for you. What do you think? Was Hachiko the best boy? Tell me in the comments. Until next time, keep listening and keep learning. Bye for now.